Hello and welcome to this special year-end edition of Capra Energy's Global Gas Wrap. I'm your host, Tamir Drews. We'd like to wrap up 2025 by highlighting what we see as the year's biggest developments and their impact on the global gas and LNG markets moving forward. And there's a single number that prominently appears in each of the year's big stories: 100. First, the United States has emerged as the world's dominant LNG producer, becoming the first country to export over 100 million tons of LNG in a single year. Second, TTF has cemented its position as the preeminent global gas price benchmark, with over 100 million contracts traded on ICE. And third, expectations that China will be the key engine of LNG demand growth cooled considerably as Chinese LNG imports fell by over 100 cargoes. Let's start with the first big development of 2025: U.S. LNG dominance. In early December, the JIRA chartered No-Shoe Maru LNG carrier loaded the 100 millionth ton of LNG exported by the U.S. in 2025. The cargo departed from the Sempra-operated Cameron LNG project on December 6 and arrived in Croatia at month's end. With this loading, the U.S. became the first LNG exporter ever to surpass the 100 million ton mark in a single year. By the end of 2025, the U.S. reached a total of almost 110 million tons of LNG exports, and December set a new record for monthly exports, with 11 million tons leaving American shores. To put these numbers in perspective, December U.S. LNG output reached an annualized rate of over 130 million tons. That run rate already exceeds the total capacity that Qatar, the U.S.'s main challenger for the LNG crown, hopes to achieve by the end of this decade. And by 2031, if we factor in only the massive wave of new capacity already under construction in the U.S., it should reach 232 million tons in exports at full utilization. That will widen the U.S. capacity lead versus Qatar to over 100 million tons. Our second major development of the year emanates from Europe. In early December, around the same time the U.S. shipped its 100 millionth ton of LNG, the 100 millionth TTF natural gas contract traded on ICE. That milestone capped off a record year for activity in TTF, the title transfer facility, across both futures and options. Since 2022, average daily volume in TTF futures has more than doubled to nearly 340,000 lots per day. Open interest has risen even faster, reaching about 2.9 million contracts in 2025, almost triple the 2022 level. That faster increase in open interest suggests traders are holding a larger share of their positions for longer periods, reflecting greater use of TTF derivatives for hedging, arbitrage, and proprietary exposure to natural gas and LNG prices. This deepening liquidity reflects fundamental shifts in Europe's gas market structure since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022. The resulting surge in European LNG imports, much of it priced or indexed to TTF, created new opportunities to hedge, trade, and optimize around highly volatile market flows. At the same time, the continued growth of global LNG trade has reinforced TTF's relevance beyond Europe, because pricing across key LNG markets, including Northeast Asia, is highly correlated with TTF. In practice, that has made TTF a common proxy for managing LNG price risk across major hubs outside Europe as well. Finally, we turn to Asia for our third big story of the year. Despite widespread expectations for continued LNG demand growth in China, the country's LNG imports for the whole year fell back to 67 million tons, matching the level seen back in 2020. Accordingly, terminal utilization levels dropped substantially as well, with China receiving 1,027 cargoes, 136 fewer than in 2024. This 12% year on year decline came even as LNG prices eased and new liquefaction capacity boosted global supply and flows. The shift has prompted observers to place less weight on China as the primary engine of LNG demand growth and more on a broader, more balanced growth across regions such as South Asia, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East. And with that, we wrap up the year. We wish you a successful 2026 in the global gas and LNG markets, and we look forward to keeping you updated on the developments that matter most. If you find our content useful, please like, subscribe, and share it with a colleague. Thank you.